everyone. Thank you for the invite for Connecticut Access Health for putting on this Connecticut Small Business Summit. This is their third year, and we're more than happy to keep getting asked back. So this is amazing. My name is Moraima Gutierrez. I am the Deputy District Director with the Connecticut United States Small Business Administration. And in my role, I am a good, I would say, ambassador for government programs and services that are here to assist small businesses. And I am here with my, I would say, colleagues, friends, partners, because when we talk about the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Connecticut, it's really important to know that it's not just one industry or one organization, it's a multitude. It's a partnership of federal, state, private, not-for-profit, and so we all come together and we have tremendous resources to help entrepreneurs, such as the ones that are here today, help you get to the next level, whether you're a startup, whether you're looking for capital to grow, to expand. So we're going to talk a little bit about small business finances because that's what's on everybody's mind today. And so I'm just going to have each of you introduce yourselves. I'm going to start with you, Jim.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Bzdyra, and I'm the president of the Community Economic Development Fund, also known as CEDF. We're based in Meriden. We cover the entire state of Connecticut, and we are a mission-driven, independent small business lender. So if you're looking to borrow money for, as Moraima said, to start your business, grow your business, whatever the case may be, we are an option for you.
I like that. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. How many people love the topic finance, by the way? Show of hands. Anybody? Well, that's more than I thought. Okay. Awesome. My name is Tanya Kelley. I'm a business advisor with the Women's Business Development Council. I focus primarily on access to capital, but I may or may not be a numbers nerd, so I also work on finance with small business owners, whether it be for their business or for their personal. That's a little bit about me. Happy to be here with all of you.
Good morning, everyone. Silva. I'm the president and CEO of the Community Investment Corporation, also known as CIC. We're a homegrown, mission-driven lender, and our focus and mission is to provide practical guidance and financing solutions to our state's small business ecosystem. We do it through a variety of different SBA programs, but more importantly, we do it in collaboration and partnership with many of the folks on the panel here and throughout the other conventional lenders that are out in the state as well.
Good morning. Sheila Hummel I'm a director of small business and programs with the Department of Economic and Community Development, the state of Connecticut. What do we do? Well, first of all, we do not do direct lending. But what we do is we provide oversight and the funding for the organizations that do provide grants and loans to small businesses. We fund technical assistance programs through like the Small Business Development Center and WBDC, Women's Business Development Council. And then another thing we do is we constantly want to hear from the businesses, what are your challenges, what are your issues, what's working, what isn't, so we can implement initiatives and programs to try to help you out. So I'm glad to be on this panel today.
Thank you. So I'm going to jump around to the speakers in no particular order with random questions, but they're all going to be good questions. So we're going to leave here smarter today. So you introduced yourself, and some of you shared your perspectives in access to capital ecosystem role. But what does access to capital mean to you, Tanya, in the role that you play with the Women's Business Development Council?
Access to capital. When I think about access to capital, the first thing that comes to mind, and I might be dating myself, is getting the money. show me the money. I don't know if anybody ever saw Jerry Maguire with getting that money. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But second to that is focusing on the word access. What does access mean? The way that we access capital is really important. So it's not just about getting the money, it's about the education, it's about resources, it's about building relationships. So to summarize, when I think about access to capital, yeah, I think about Tom Cruise a little bit and maybe Cuba Gooding Jr., messed up his name. I think about showing me the money, but also I think about what goes behind that, right? How are we educating ourselves? How are we building relationships? How are we utilizing resources so that we can access capital?
Good one, good one. So access to capital is the fancy term for show me the money.
Show me the money.
Okay,
That's exactly
got
right.
it. What about you, Jim? When we think of access to capital, what does that mean to you in your industry?
A lot similar to what Tanya just said, but I'll just add a little bit in terms of kind of pre and post getting the money. Pre is, making sure you're ready, your financials are ready, you're mentally ready, you've got the relationships built in the community among your customers, your suppliers, so you're ready to access the capital. I will say, I was going to save this for the end, but I don't want to forget. A very wise person told me about 6 months ago, and I think it's a phrase that some of you may have already heard, but it's always this: always be prepared so you do not have to get prepared. That may have been your line. I may have learned that from you.
Say that. I'm still
stole
going
her
to say
line.
that.
I may have. But I'll say, and it takes a lot of energy and resources to stay prepared. I get that. But when you are always prepared for the next opportunity, for the next financing, to get that next customer, when you're prepared, you don't have to get prepared. It may take you 3 or 4 months to get prepared, and that opportunity that was there is now gone. So that's my one piece of advice today, and thank you, and enjoy the shrimp.
So Jim jumped the gun because he was going to tell me that at the end.
Other is, and we do this as well as other resources as well. Once you do get the access to capital and you obtain that loan, whatever that loan looks like, a lot of organizations, ours included, we're going to provide post-loan technical assistance. Some folks call it business advisory. So we're going to help you, as well as a lot of other resources in the state, coach you, mentor you, share some best practices with you. So it's not just about getting the money, very important, but it's also using that money properly and growing your business and growing each of you as a business owner.
Great, great. So at the Small Business Administration, so we don't do the direct lending either, but we are the guaranteed lender. So we help the lender get to the yes decision. So sometimes you don't have maybe all the collateral or the credit score, or you don't have maybe all the experience, but you have a really solid business plan. So we have wonderful SBA loan programs, and in fiscal year '24, we lent out about $383 million just in Connecticut in government guaranteed lending. So this is why banks like us, because we're kind of like the co-signer for you. And so with our different loan products, we have our small business lenders that are the ones that facilitate the lending process for us. So I'm going to jump to you, Lou. So can you walk us through the different types of capital available? And I'm talking about from traditional loans to any alternative financing. And how do you know when each of them is appropriate? Like, how would you make those decisions, right? Because sometimes clients or a potential entrepreneur or borrower will come to me and say, I want an SBA loan, but they might not need an SBA loan, right? So how do you make those determinations?
Yeah, it's a great question. It all starts and stems from the access to capital and the need for the capital, right? So we try to position the need with the right product type that we have to offer at CIC. So I'll answer the question from an organizational perspective. So we at CIC offer 3 principal loan programs. And forgive me, we love acronyms in our world. So, and we like to associate numbers with loan programs in the world of SBA. So one of the main programs that we offer is called the SBA 504 program. That program allows entrepreneurs to acquire long-term fixed eligible assets, real estate and or equipment. And the idea behind the program is that we want the end user, the borrower, to be able to conserve cash so that they can go on to later invest in other aspects of their business by levering this program. So it provides a borrower with a low equity requirement. It gives the borrower long-term fixed financing, and it gives it to them at a below market interest rate. And so when you combine all these elements into this one program, it really provides a solution to the borrower that helps them expand in a low-cost manner, so to speak. It is one of the SBA's premier economic development programs. It's the only program that exists that really leverages a public-private partnership, whereby we as an organization have to work in conjunction with the banking community to be able to provide this type of solution to its end users. So if someone comes to us and says, hey, I want to buy a piece of property, well, okay, that's the first program we look at to see if we can get them qualified in that particular type of request, if you will. On the other side of long-term fixed asset acquisitions, we provide what we call community lending programs. And this is where access to capital shines for us, because it gives us the ability to provide underserved businesses with capital that isn't available conventionally, right? So you heard Moraima talk about the government subsidizing or providing a guarantee or being a cosigner. These programs allow lenders like us to take on more risk because we are getting a guarantee from SBA to be able to provide it. So some of these businesses can lever what's called a microloan program, and we offer it in conjunction with our partner, Jim, at CEDF. That program provides financing up to $50,000. It provides financing for working capital, leasehold improvements, equipment, and a couple of other uses as well. But the beauty behind that program is, I'll give you another tagline, the program gives you the ability to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And the reason why that is so important is because it provides the end user with technical assistance. And so the lenders can provide you with free support, both on a pre-loan basis and on a post-loan basis, to really give you that guidance that you need to run your business and to fall back on in hard times, right? We provide you with that added value of an advisor, of that free support that you can lever. The last program is the 7A program. We offer it in conjunction with many of our banking partners in the state. That program is a very versatile program whereby if you're looking to buy real estate, refi business debt, working capital, you name it, everything that you could potentially need from a business perspective, the 7A program can offer that to you in a nice blended opportunistic program for you to lever. So there's a variety of different needs that can be met through some of the SBA's principal programs. But the reality is it all starts with the ask and then trying to figure out the program that best fits the need. And it can be designed in a variety of different ways, and the requests can be structured appropriately that meets the end user's needs at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It's not one size fits all.
No.
Not one size. And when we talk about alternative sources of financing, Sheila, the state of Connecticut has a wonderful program that was introduced post-pandemic. And I believe it's called the Boost Loan From.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, thank you. So we have the Small Business Boost Program. It's a private-public partnership. It's funded at a level of $150 million. To date, we've made over 596 loans, which equates to $76 million. It's a statewide program. There's an online portal that you can go into. There's a pre-application that you complete with close to like 15 questions, and either you get matched up to one of the community lenders in the state, but if you don't get matched up, there's an opportunity to get technical assistance. For some reason, your credit, you might have had some issues with your credit through the years, you might have issue with cash flow, so no one gets left behind. So if you don't get matched up to one of the lenders, and actually CEDF, Jim's organization, is one of the lenders that participate in the program. So let me get to the good stuff, because most of you are like, okay, so how much can I get? What's the interest rate? And one thing I do want to mention, we have a table out there. It's being manned by Susan Chen. Stop by the table. There's brochures, there's business, my business card. But it's a 4.5% loan program. You can get up to 500,000, from 10,000 to 500,000, terms of 5 to 6 years. And it's a flexible use too. So you can use it for working capital, inventory, if you need to purchase a piece of machinery and equipment, those are all eligible uses. Your business has to have revenues less than 8 million. You have to have fewer than 100 employees. You have to be current on state, local, or federal taxes, or be on a payment plan. And you must have operations in Connecticut. So that's been a really popular program because you can get pre and post technical assistance too. If you need, I would highly recommend you reach out to one of our technical providers before you go in and just go into the portal and apply. You can, Small Business Development Center, reach out to them. They can kind of run you through the program, look at your financials to see if it's a good fit. WBDC too, they're one of the technical providers for this program. And and MCC, Minority Construction Council, if you're a construction company, reach out to them. And everything, we have brochures and stuff at our table too about this program. Another program that's very popular is the Minority Business Revolving Loan Fund, and that's administered by HEDCO. They're a Hartford organization, but it's a statewide program, and you can apply. You can get up to 500,000, 4%, and the term is 10 years. And, eligible uses, machinery and equipment, working capital, inventory, computer equipment. So that's another program. They were just funded at 11 million, so they do have funding available. So you can reach out to HEDCO. Once again, there's information at DECD's table that you can swing by.
Thanks, Sheila. And so we use fancy terms like access to capital. I also heard another fancy term, technical assistance, right? And what does that even mean? In your world, Tanya, at the Women Business Development Council, what does technical assistance mean to these entrepreneurs here today?
Technical assistance, so I will tell you what it doesn't mean. A lot of people, I'll start with that. Yep. Oftentimes when people hear technical assistance, they think of the IT department and someone helping with my software, or that's not what we do. Right, that's not what we do.
We are breaking those myths.
That's exactly right. We're dispelling that right here, right now. Technical assistance for the Women's Business Development Council looks like this. You want to apply for a loan, or you want to obtain a grant, or you're trying to pay yourself, or you don't know how to balance your checkbook, do your bank recs. We help you with all of those types of things. If you are stuck, if you're trying to apply for capital in any way, whether, again, it's grants or loans, we can help you with that. I don't know what a profit and loss is. We can help you with that. My books are a mess. We can help you with that. I haven't touched QuickBooks in 2 years. We can help you with that, right? We are here to provide the tools that you'll need so that you can be prepared to complete that application, that loan application, so that you can do the money dance, right? Like I've got the capital dance. That's a little bit about what we do.
Okay. Okay, so Jim, you're next. What are some of the biggest barriers entrepreneurs face when trying to access capital today?
Good question. There are numerous ones, but I would say making sure if you're a true startup business or a young business, or let's say you've been around for less than 12 months, maybe 24 months, it's making sure that you have a business plan in place. That's very, very important. And a lot of aspiring business owners and new business owners will say, oh, my potential lender, whether it's a bank, whether it's CIC, CEDF, HEDCO, or other organizations, oh, I know they're going to want a business plan. Let me get that ready for them. And yes, we do look at the business plan. We want to make sure that we understand what your model is, whether it's a product or service. We want to make sure that you've done some research into your competition, into your pricing. But rest assured that the business plan that you develop, either by yourself or with a bookkeeper, an accountant, or maybe with somebody at WBDC, that business plan is for you. That's your roadmap and your guidepost to help you, start up and run your business. So I think one of the hurdles is, as a small business owner, newly formed, you need to have a really robust business plan that you can guide yourself with. Number two is making sure that when you're talking with a lender, either directly or you've gone through WBDC or another technical assistance provider, that within reason, you know what you want the money for, right? Whether it's for a working capital line of credit, whether it's for a term loan to hire people to buy a piece of equipment, make sure that you know within reason what you're looking to borrow that money for, and make sure that you're comfortable that you'll be able to pay it back in time.
All right. So there's, we've heard about different loan products. Lou, can you share a success story where access to the right kind of capital or loan product helped a business scale or succeed?
Sure. I talk about this story quite a bit because it's the perfect example of someone needing financing as a startup, getting it, and then scaling appropriately. So we have had the privilege and the pleasure, really, of working with a company called Float 41. Some of you may be familiar with it, but there's two locations. There's one in Glastonbury, probably the closest one here. But we started working with the owner when she had this idea as a concept. And so it's a woman in a veteran-owned business, and she wanted to offer a flotation therapy service to the community, but more importantly, those struggling with PTSD and people leaving the military and needing some help. And we took a look at her business plan, and it made a lot of sense. She was going into a community where this service wasn't available. And we believed in the concept behind her really having a niche market that she wanted to really go after. So we provided her with a microloan to get started. She grew conservatively, but always had sort of an eye on a bigger picture, and that was to have multiple locations. So it started off as a small lease office location, which she still has, grew into a second brick and mortar location where we were actually able to provide her with the financing needed to not only acquire that building, but to also acquire all the equipment, make all the leasehold improvements, and now she has this beautiful new building in Glastonbury that she's offering her services, and really she's offering more expanded services there as well. So what really started off as a small, humble opportunity has grown into this phenomenal service that's available in the marketplace. And if you go to Glastonbury, it's not uncommon for you to walk in and see UConn's, women's and men's basketball players there using those services, and it's really just become this phenomenal addition to the small business community that, we were fortunate to be able to provide her with a very, very small microloan to get her started.
I like the celebrity sightings piece of it as well. I like the uniqueness of the industry. That sounds really interesting. What about you, Tanya? Because you assist so many small businesses with the technical assistance, as we said earlier.
Yes.
Tell us about a success story.
Wow. Sheila had mentioned going to the table. You had said go to the table, and I want to say, please visit our table. We have a table outside, and we also have, well, it wouldn't be inside, but we have a table, and we also have the website where you should definitely go and learn more about our services. In there, you will also see success stories. One that comes to mind is I was advising a family home child care provider, and we got to know each other very well. In fact, I got to know her family because we would meet in the evenings, and I'd say hello to her daughter and her husband, and it became like a family affair. She wanted to scale and become a child care center, and we were working on strategy so she could get there, business plan, projections, all of those types of things, a reserve, right, QuickBooks. And what happened, so she had planned to look into purchasing a child care center in another year, year and a half. But she received an opportunity probably 2 to 3 months after we started working together. And she had a choice to make, right? Do I seize the moment, although I'm scared? And this is something I've seen, on social media. Like sometimes you have to do it afraid. And she did it afraid. And so she applied for one of our grants. She applied for an expansion grant, went from a family child care provider to that of a child care center. And now she has a child care center. She has employed several people, and she wants to scale and have a few more child care centers, in addition to helping other child care business owners attain their goal, reach their goal of becoming a successful child care center owner. So that's one that sticks in my mind because I really just became so attached to this family. I get attached to all of my clients, quite honestly, but just seeing the kids in the background, they're also working in the business now. It's just amazing. So that's one success story. But if you want to see others, definitely check out our website because we have plenty of success stories.
Absolutely. And it starts in places like this, right? By attending these type of events and just getting familiarized with the resources that are available to you in our state of Connecticut. And speaking to folks like the ones on the panel here today, because everyone has unique products and services available, and most of them are free. So that 4-letter word is good. So
right
Jim,
place.
you're next. What lessons can we learn from businesses that were denied funding, right? Because not everybody gets a yes on their first try, but they still found a way to thrive. So what lessons can we learn from those type of small businesses that have had that type of story?
Great question. So I would say this. At our organization, CEDF, we rarely say no to an applicant. Quite often we say, we just don't think you're ready yet to access the capital, but let's keep working together, or let's keep talking. So I guess along those lines, I would say, don't be discouraged. When you're out there, building, whether it's a startup business or you've been in business for 5 years now, and maybe you've put the financing together with some family and friends money, with some grants, and now you really need to borrow that $100,000 to really grow or scale your business, and you approach a bank or two and they deny you. You may talk with someone up here or another lender in the state, and they say, we just don't feel comfortable lending you the money now. Don't be discouraged. Keep building those relationships. Keep building your business, and listen to what the folks that are saying, we can't help you right now, listen to the advice they're giving you, right? And maybe we think you need another year or two in business, and maybe we need you to think about really upgrading your bookkeeping and your accounting. Maybe it's a matter of maybe you need to grow your customer base a little bit. So don't be discouraged. Keep taking the advice even when you don't want to hear it. Kind of sort through it and just keep moving forward.
Good advice, Jim. So we have to look at our lenders not as scary people. We have to look at them as investors, right? Because they're also taking a risk in investing in you, in your small business. Lou, what do you typically look for in an entrepreneur or a business before deciding to go ahead and make that investment in that small business?
Yeah, we boil it down to really 3 key ingredients, if you will, that really kind of give us the ability to look inward at the applicant to kind of get an understanding as to who they are as a human being, but more importantly, who they will be as a business owner and the type of business that they will seek to operate. So the one thing I look at first and foremost is character. Is the person transparent? Are they putting all their cards on the table for us to understand and to get to know them better? So transparency is really key for us. Second one is their financial profile. Do they know their finances well enough that they can tell us the good, bad, and the ugly? The last thing we want to say is, or the last thing we want to see is a situation where we were told that, my credit history is fantastic, and then all of a sudden we pull credit and it's not the case, right? We want to know what that looks like up front so we can try to work with the particular individual to try to fix those issues. And then the last piece is concept, right? Does the applicant really know the business model? We don't want to do the deal more than the client does, right? We want them to fully understand their business plan. We want them to be able to tell us again, the good, bad, and the ugly as it relates to the business and their plan to kind of move past some of the issues that they will encounter. We've seen many times where, we're reading a business plan and we have a lot of detail, but when we speak to the individual, we get a different perception of what that future might look like. What's on paper isn't necessarily what the client believes in their heart that they're going to look to operate as a business owner. So there has to be a connection there, and we always like to see applicants be really prepared and really know their business plan inside and out. And those are the types of businesses that typically will end up getting their funding. If you've done the legwork, if you've done your research and you know what you're getting yourself into and you can project that in a conversation, that's a really, really good start to getting down the road of accessing capital.
Thank you. So Sheila, you talked earlier about the state of Connecticut's, wonderful programs. How can an entrepreneur better position themselves to be able to qualify or maybe to seek out these funding sources?
Okay, I think the first thing you have to do is we reach out to one of our service providers, small business nonprofits like SBDC, Small Business Development Center, the Women's Business Development Council, and talk with them. They're funded by the state and federal funds, and it's really, really important that you reach out to them, you sit down with them, you have a conversation with them, or reach out to DECD, reach out to us and kind of tell us what you need help with. So then we can direct you, like if you're looking for funding, we can say, just kind of do maybe a deep dive, have a deep conversation in what exactly, how much are you looking for what, and then we can direct you to maybe the proper lender. Or maybe we refer people to other state agencies too, like Michelle Gilman was just up here talking about what DAS does. And for example, if you're looking for like state contracts, or if you want to be certified as a minority-owned business on the state contract list, we can refer you to the Department of Administrative Services. So, feel free to reach out to us at any time and have a conversation, and then we can direct you. We can say, this might be a good client for the Black Business Alliance, or for, WBDC, or CEDF, or CIC. So it's really, really important for us to understand exactly what you need help with.
Absolutely. As state and federal partners, we're kind of ambassadors, right, Sheila?
Right, that's
So,
the way of saying it.
Yeah, we're really good ambassadors in terms of, doing the referrals and pointing of the arrows. Go to this organization, go to that organization. So it's really important to make those connections, and we are accessible. So I was given like 5 minutes ago a warning. So I'm just going to ask this last quick question. So very quickly, folks. What's one thing you wish more entrepreneurs would ask, when coming to you seeking your either loan products or your advice? So what's one thing you wish more entrepreneurs would ask? Because remember, being an entrepreneur is a very passionate sentiment. So sometimes we have everything in our head and we're ready to execute, but we don't have the business plan, or we don't know where we're going to finance the whole project, but we're so passionate about it that, we sometimes pull the trigger. So, all right, whoever's got a great answer, what's one thing you wish?
So I will say,
Okay.
we don't offer loan products, right? We
Right.
have grants. That
Grants,
was my
yes.
Oprah moment, right? But I will say that I would wish that they would ask, like, what do I need? Like, how do I prepare, right? Like,
Okay.
starting with that. I think
Right.
that could be really important.
Right.
And just like Sheila said, that there are places that they can go to get ready. Because, as Jim said, if you stay ready, then you're not getting ready, right? So that's what I would say.
Right, and pulling the cart before the horse, because we see a lot of folks, deplete their savings or take a cash advance on a credit card that's about 32%. And so, yeah, you haven't talked to any of us, right? We could have mitigated that risk.
One thing I'd like to add, and just building on what you just said, Tanya, if you're coming to a lender, and let's say you come to CIC or CDF, and we give you the loan, and that's great, and we have other resources that we're going to be able to share with you in terms of business advisors and business coaches, but don't be afraid to ask your lender or anyone you're talking to, what other resources are in the marketplace? Jim, great experience at CDF, thank you, but we don't have every tool and every resource for every one of our borrowers, but we all work together so well up here and across the state. Other organizations may have different expertise that we don't have in-house that we can share with you. So I would always say, build as many relationships as you can all the time, and don't be afraid to ask someone you're working with, you're great, I appreciate the time we spent together, you've helped my business, but what other resources are available in the state among other private and state organizations that I, as a business owner, may be able to take advantage of and learn more and grow. And all of us, while we all like our respective organizations and we all think we do a good job, and we do, we're always open to pointing you in different directions and helping other resources come in to help you build and grow your business and become the best business owner you can.
Lou?
Yeah, I'll just add, we get a tremendous amount of requests for grants, and as our type of organization, we don't provide grants, but the one takeaway I would give is don't rely on a grant to launch a business, and we see that happen quite a bit. Instead, I would recommend that you approach a lender with your idea and ask for guidance and support on how they can accomplish the capital needs to launch that business, right? So rather than honing in on specifically a grant, perhaps you can do a loan. You just need to figure out how you make that loan happen, right? So if you take the approach of, hey, here's my idea, how do I get it across the finish line? And then let us sort of design the plan that works best from our perspective to help you cross that finish line.
Sheila?
Okay, one thing I want to say is talk to other business owners before you establish your business. You really have to have a heart-to-heart conversation because it takes a lot of hard work, long hours. You have to sacrifice. Sacrifice time with your family. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm sick of working for, I'm sick of having a boss. But that's one thing. Have some conversations with people. And I'd like to end this conversation. Please, please do not take out high-interest credit card loans or internet loans. We have people come in with the Boost program, and a lot of situations we can refinance high-interest loans, but don't take those loans where they attach your receivables. So they're coming in every day and they're taking money out. You guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, reach out to someone for help before I know it's difficult, especially during COVID. What we're seeing is a lot of businesses coming in with those loans on their balance sheet.
Right.
So,
Right.
thank you.
So are we opening up to the public? Okay, so there is audience participation, so we're going to open it up for some questions.
Good morning, and thank you very much for putting this together. Because of COVID, I'm sure a lot of the businesses in here incurred considerable amount of debt to make it through and to get to this point. What are the best vehicles to be able to restructure the debt?
It all depends on the type of debt and sort of the approach to resolve it. So when we look at the use of that money behind the scenes, we try to match use and term, right? Was it a short-term need? Can we refinance it into a short-term solution? Can the business support it from a cash flow perspective? What you don't want to do is take debt that you're already paying interest and principal on and throw it onto a line of credit just to get some reprieve and just continue to pay interest. We see that happen quite a bit. And while that might be an easy, quick fix, you're not dealing with a big issue of that principal, and that needs to be paid down. So, if you can get yourself into a position to take that whatever debt you've incurred to refinance it into a term loan, that's stretched out appropriately to match your cash flow, that's what I would recommend doing. And again, we see this quite a bit, and we have done refi requests for folks who have incurred, a significant amount of debt because of COVID. And, it could be a situation where the business may not have sufficient cash flow right now, but we can project out for a couple of years and we can see that the cash flow is coming. And so, we can rely on that projected income to help you resolve that situation. So that is one avenue that we can look at. The other thing I'll say, as a commercial lender, all commercial lenders will look to refinance debt that was incurred for business-only purposes. So we've seen a lot of folks use business debt to satisfy personal obligations, and we would ask, what was the money used for? And if it wasn't used for a business or commercial purpose, unfortunately, that's going to be a debt that we can't touch or reasonably refi into commercial debt again. So.
I believe the young lady. Yes, okay.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this panel. I know it's super insightful. My name is Catrice Claudio, and I work with an entrepreneurial support organization called Reset, and we partner with every single one of these organizations on the stage. And as someone who has personally reviewed grants and has been on review boards, I think one of the most missed things for younger businesses is knowing how to tell the story of their numbers. Grant applications are a business communication, and I know they're detailed and they're a drag and they're hard to get through, but it's quantitative information that is king, and knowing how to tell people, this is what we do well, this is where we're growing, this is where we need help, is very vital to them trusting your capacity to take on the loan or to take on the grant and all the responsibilities that come with it. So I just wanted to tag that in there. Talk to, like Sheila said, talk to your local business owners. Go to these organizational events. Build brand awareness with these organizations. Make sure they know you. Because even if you're young and early, the brand awareness may encourage them to make accommodations, encourage them to give you more resources, to point you in the right direction. Don't be afraid to meet them where you are and be honest about it, but also get confident about where you want to go. I just want to say thank you for that. That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Sounds like we have a panel presenter for next year.
She could have been on the panel.
So it's all about building relationships every step of the way and building them for the long term.
Absolutely. It's not one and done.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having this phenomenal panel here today. So my name is Jeffrey Moore. I work for the American Job Center, South Central Connecticut, and we help job seekers, especially from the private and public sector, that are leaving the workforce get access to entrepreneurial opportunities. And this is phenomenal to have this event today. My question is that how are you guys promoting these opportunities, especially from the state and federal level, to the public?
So that's a really good question, because the federal government does zero attempts in promotion. We really don't promote because we're a government agency, so we don't have those types of budgets to, promote our programs and services. And although they're free, I mean, you can definitely find us online, sba.gov, and, and through our partnerships with other organizations and our literature. So, but you're never going to see a billboard on I-91 that's going to say, United States Small Business Administration. You're not going to see a commercial on television unless we're like at an event like we are here today. So that is, coming from a federal perspective, and that's the best use of your federal taxpayer dollars, right? So,
If I could just say, for today, DECD has a table outside in the lobby, and then we have another group of people down in Trumbull, Connecticut, at an event. So we're constantly going out to events to meet the businesses and try to help them. Then we do a lot on social media too, Facebook,
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. We're constantly on LinkedIn, but we're constantly going to events to get the word out
Yeah,
to
we use
radios.
the patch, free newspapers, anywhere that we can put our information out. And like Sheila mentioned, we're at this very moment, we're having a business resource fair happening at the Trumbull Library, where all our partners are at as well. So we try to do these type of things statewide, because the more, there might be some people here today that have never heard of the Small Business Administration, right? even though we've been around since 1953. And that's okay, because you're here today and you're here to learn, to absorb, and to make those connections.
That was a good question. That's a really good question.
So follow us on LinkedIn and you will find out everything we're doing.
Probably more than you want to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I am one half of Montgomery and Taggart Bookshop in Chester, Connecticut. I just wanted to add to that discussion that our public libraries are tireless advocates for small businesses, and so many of them have untapped or under-tapped resources that are free, and people there who are happy to introduce you as ambassadors to these great organizations. They have databases, they have free training, so that's another outlet as well.
Thank you.
Our Connecticut public libraries across the state.
I just want to say something to that. That's a really great point. When I'm meeting with clients and they're talking about grants and resources and where to go, I always tell them to check in with their local public library. So I'm glad that you're saying that, because that reinforces that very point. Thank you.
I believe the gentleman here has a question.
Hello, my name is Adam. I'm a business owner for a small startup in Connecticut. We do build racing simulators. So I heard from Mr. Jim that, which I like it a lot, where you don't have to wait for the opportunity to be ready. You have to be ready and the opportunity will come. In brief, how can we be ready? You know, like I know, for example, having a ready business model. Is it about having like the accounting in place, like knowing you have a personal accounting, you know, how things are coming, how things are going? Is it about starting the process on your own so that anyone else would believe in what you are doing and start supporting you? And I'm saying being ready for not just to have a loan, because I don't believe in just having a loan because your credit score is good. I believe in having a investment or like business loan where they believe in your business because your business is great. So how to be ready to have that trust in you and the people to invest in you?
Thank you for the question. You've touched upon it already, which is making sure your financials are always in place. I'm not saying you have to be a CPA, but to Lewis's point early, you've got to have a really good grasp of your finances, the money inflows and outflows out of your business. And I'll go back to what I said earlier. It's building those relationships. So very few businesses, young businesses, can go to their local bank and get a loan. Banks have a lot of compliance and regulations, and it's tough for them to make loans to startup or young businesses. But that doesn't mean you cannot have your commercial and personal deposits at that bank branch and start to build a relationship with that assistant branch manager or branch manager, and eventually get introduced to the commercial lending side of that bank. But it's making sure that you have a bookkeeper in place, an accountant, an insurance agent or broker. You have an attorney, and I know they're very expensive. Hopefully there are no attorneys in here. But as a small business owner, even a step, you need to have an attorney helping you, form the business and give you advice and counsel as you grow that business. So it's having that team around you and building it. And if you can come to a lender or WBDC and you're looking for advice, one of the first questions we're going to say is, who's your support team? Who's on your bench? And if you basically say, it's just me, and and I've been in business for 3 years and it's been very difficult, we'd love to have to talk to and build upon that. But the more relationships, the more support folks you have around you, whether that's family, friends, again, advisors, bookkeepers, accountants, the more you can build that robust team, the better off you're going to be making your business successful.
I just want to say one other thing about that. You're right. Insurance, attorneys, bookkeeper, you're so right about all of those things, Jim. What we see a lot is people really fear the finance piece of it. I don't know if I'm speaking to this room, but I see that a lot. And so I just want to say a couple of other things about the financial piece. First of all, reach out to one of us. We can help you, right? But making sure your bank accounts, do you have a separate bank account for your business versus personal, right? If you don't, that's okay. We can talk about that. Do you have an accounting software program, right? If you don't, that's okay. We can help you with that. Are you using a bank feed if you have an accounting software program? If you don't, that's okay. My point is that a lot of people come in and they have an attorney, and the attorney will help with X, the accountant will help with Y, right? But the day-to-day, the organizing, like all of those things, people really have challenges with that, or I've seen that. So definitely reach out to us and let us help you like compose that list. And I'm telling you, we can make finance fun. Maybe I'm geeky, but I think we can make finance fun.
If I can just add one brief moment to that, don't approach either Lewis at CIC or us at CDF or a bank or another lender, and you need the money in 24 hours. That's not a good way to do it. We can all tell a lot of stories, but it's not uncommon for us to get a phone call and say, I've just signed a lease, and I need to open in the next 30 days. I need $150,000, and we're just not. None of us are prepared to act that quickly. We just can't do it, and that's not fair to you. Build the relationship early. Come to Lewis or CDF or your local bank or other organizations. Say, look, I've started my business. I'm putting it together with family and friends' money. Unfortunately, I borrowed on a few credit cards at 20%. Be transparent. But you know what? I may be looking for a loan in the next 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. I want to get to know you at CEDF, CIC, Headco, WBDC, the Boost Fund of Connecticut. Start that relationship as early as you can. We're not too scary. We're not too much like monsters. We're here to help you build that business. And the more of that relationship you can build ahead of time before you're in crunch time and you need that 20 or 50 or 100,000, and you've built that rapport with a lender, that's the best way to do it. That's the best way that we're going to be able to help you and get ready and get to learn your business, learn about your character, develop that rapport back and forth to make that relationship really strong. So when you need that finance, it's not scary. You already know us, and we can have a much better, friendly conversation of how we can help you.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is we had a conversation out in the hallway before we came in, and we were talking about, obviously, going into business and assisting all of you here today. And then, but another fact is that, what about an exit strategy? Because if, you've incurred X amount of debt, you're really not making a profit anymore, and you're just drowning. And it sounds painful, right? Because you put your heart and soul and all your dreams into this business, but it's okay. It's okay to say, you know what? I need an exit strategy because, again, you need to preserve your life and your sanity. So our business advisors, whether it's the Women Business Development Council, our Small Business Development Center, our SCORE, these are free advisors that are there to assist you taking a look at your business holistically so you can have that exit strategy and possibly make a small profit at the end when you sell it. So just things to consider, right? Because it hurts to say, I'm going to be closing my shop. But I just encountered that actually this week, and I went shopping for one thing. And then I ended up at the store next door just because it had a closing going out of business sale. So I was very curious. And I was asking, the store owner, why are you closing your business? And, she's like, it's been a good run, but I've been struggling the past 12 months, and I just can't do this anymore. And so, again, but it's okay because she's like, but now I have a great summer ahead of me, and and I'm selling all my inventory, and, so just things to consider. Exactly. And any more? I think we have time for one more. Okay. I have somebody keeping me in check here.
I wish I had done all this stuff like 5-7 years ago with you guys, but when do you recommend a line of credit over a loan or vice versa?
I can take it.
Lewis has been waiting for this.
So my slogan for that type of request is you match your need with the length of time, right? So short-term need, short-term financing vehicle, long-term need, long-term financing. A line of credit really is for a short-term need. So perhaps it's funding your accounts receivable. Perhaps it's funding an inventory acquisition that you're going to be able to take in and turn around right away. A line of credit is really meant to resolve a short-term issue. A longer-term need or a longer-term loan should really be suitable for perhaps a equipment acquisition, a vehicle acquisition. Generally speaking, that will have a useful life of 7, 8, 9, 10 years or whatever the case is. And so you'll want to stretch the repayment out to sort of match the useful life of that particular asset. So
If I could just say one thing about a line of credit, it's always good to get a line of credit before you really need it, just for emergency situations. Because, you know, if you're at a point you might not be able to make payroll, for example, you won't be able to go to a bank and get a line of credit. But if you have one, then you can use it. So that's my 2 cents worth.
No, that's very good. Be prepared with a line of credit so you don't have to get prepared. Make sure you have it in place already. If a bank or a lender will give that to you, and kind of use it as an insurance policy if you need it. So it's there to draw on, either to handle accounts receivable, accounts payable mistiming, or just to have as that insurance policy. If times get tough, you can use that to cover expenses for a period of time.
And if the pandemic didn't show entrepreneurs anything, it was the term "be prepared," right? Because no one knew it was coming, yet one fine day, I think it was March 20th or March 16th, we were all told, you have to shut your doors. And so it was such a scary time, and it was only, 5 years ago. So it hasn't been that long. And again, just like the gentleman said, I still haven't, recovered because of all the debt that I incurred during that time to keep my business afloat. So again, we don't know what's coming in the future. We don't have a crystal ball, but we can tell you that we do have resources available to help you and take a look at your business plan, help you grow, help you expand, again, help you with a line of credit. Our business advisors, our technical assistance services are completely free of charge. So please take advantage of them.